We are talking about Christmas and all the things related to Christmas, and so
I hear that's like the holiday right now.
It is. It's what's
It's probably been the
going
holiday
on.
for 2 months.
True. I mean,
As of the release of this podcast.
yeah, I feel like if you've gone into like if you've gone into a major store, it was Christmas months ago.
Sure.
So
Well,
It's starting in August.
in that case, Falice Navidad.
yes,
There's a D at the end of that.
Man,
wow.
I spent all night working on that.
Well,
Okay, you say it.
there you go.
What? It's Feliz Navidad.
See, I was close.
You were
Okay.
100% close.
I thought it was fleas on my dog, so I guess I've misunderstood
Wow.
all of these years.
Okay,
It's-
my Spanish was a little off.
Get in the comments. I don't. Just get in the comments.
I tried. I
Yeah.
worked on
That's
trying.
amazing. Can we edit that out? I mean, I just.
Nope, leave it in.
it's there for life.
Yep.
Okay, so other than trying to figure out how to say Feliz Navidad,
Whoa, hey, check it out. You can say it.
yeah. So
Now, can
Christmas-
you sing it?
we're not. Well, I could, but we're not doing a singing competition right now. And we could do an American Idol thing one day, but
Yeah.
that's probably not what people tuned in for. So Christmas.
I don't know what they tuned in for at this point. I apologize.
Yes, we do. We are
Blanket
sorry.
apology.
Okay, so Christmas brings about so many things when it relates to family and kids. I mean, it's just like we were just making the list, and there's hundreds of things.
Were we checking it twice?
Trying to. That was good. That was good.
To
That
make
was
sure
good.
who was naughty and nice?
Yeah,
I thought we weren't singing.
and so
We didn't.
because Santa
We were
is
going for
coming
a
to
rap.
town, and that was actually on our list.
Yeah.
That's
Santa
true.
Claus
Santa.
is
There we go.
coming.
That's a
Yeah,
good
so there's a
segue.
good
Good
segue.
job.
Santa.
To
You,
town.
Eric, you were the one who brought this up, right? Taking your kids to see Santa in the mall.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
American pastime.
An American pastime.
Yeah.
That's a really weird way to think about that.
Well, but it's how true is it?
It is.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid and Santa is coming to the mall. I wanted to go see Santa. I wanted to take my letter. I was
Right.
all excited to do that. Then my mom was like, "Are you sure you want to go do this?" I'm like, "I want to go do this." And
You
she's
were the
like,
one pushing for it, not
I
your
was
mom.
pushing for it. Now, at times when I was younger, she was pushing for it, and I was like, "I ain't having none of this." But now I'm pushing for it because I really believe, based on the cartoons and such, that if I give that letter to him, I will get
Whatever.
a pony.
I see.
A Red Ryder BB gun.
No, you should try out.
Pony.
You missed the pony?
The
I will
pony.
get
Pony.
a pony.
Okay, pony.
It will be in my stocking.
Okay.
You
That'd be a
know,
big stocking.
That would be.
it would be a
Wow.
big stocking, yes. And
Why
so,
did you want to? Oh, that's a whole nother podcast of why Eric might have wanted a pony.
well, okay, pony was the only thing I thought I could get in the backyard. I really wanted an Arabian stallion.
Wow.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So we're starting
That works.
small and working up.
I mean, I wanted a hang glider one year.
Okay.
So-
yeah, that's
Is that
good.
is that where the Walmart like parachute bags? came
That probably is because that, yeah. And
I
my
think Josh had the desire to fly.
yes, I wanted to fly. My fallback was an intercom system like at school because I thought it was cool how they would come over the intercom. And my parents actually found at Radio Shack like a little
For those of you who are tuning in
Intercom
who are
thing.
under the age of 25, Radio
Yes,
Shack.
does not exist.
but it was
Look
a
it up.
great place.
It was a great place.
It was probably like Toys R Us for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I loved going to Radio
And for those
Shack.
of you who don't know what Toys R Us is, God, great.
Yeah, everything good has gone away. Wow.
Toys R Us is still out there.
They're back.
Yeah. Okay.
They definitely went away for a while.
Well, yeah.
They didn't die.
And that's what I was going to say. Even the mall,
gosh.
this sounds worse.
That's right.
but-
We're talking about going to see Santa
Yeah.
in the mall. Who goes
How
to
many-
malls anymore?
Yeah.
Those of you who don't know what malls are.
I mean, this is going to sound worse, but we did take our son to see Santa last Christmas at the flea market
Well, there you go.
because they said they were going to have Santa and it was
Okay.
free. And so we took him there, and he didn't like it.
He
cried.
He did not like being on a stranger's lap.
Was that the part he didn't like?
I don't know.
Did he just not like any of it? Did he not like standing in line? Was it too cold?
He just wasn't too
hungry?
happy about it. He wanted to do something
Yeah,
else.
and that's kind of the thing is
Yeah.
that you're literally putting your kid on a stranger's lap.
Right,
That's
which
kind
is
of
a
the
little
traditional-
creepy
Yeah.
sounding.
And
yeah.
so, I mean, my mom finally got Santa to compromise, because a lot of the Santas were like, no, you have to sit on my knee.
Right,
And
them's the game, man.
I was like, I'm not doing it. And he's like, then get out of the line. And I'm like,
Right.
I'm not doing that either. You know,
And does Santa have a background check?
right.
I mean,
he should.
I'm sure that probably now there's more background check Santas happening.
Right.
But I mean, one Santa allowed me to stand next to him.
Okay.
And that began to kind of break that ice. But the whole thing was, I want to go see Santa, but then I would get there and there's this line.
Yeah.
And then you wait. And then you're looking, wait, who is that dude? Okay, wait, is he nice? Is he not? Is he
Right. Is he naughty or nice?
what is the deal? And then you get up there and it's like, because a part of my personality is introverted. So the introvert now is going to be sitting on the lap with everyone watching.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The opposite place where an introvert wants to be.
Right, absolutely. And my mom's like, I just waited 2.5 hours. You're going up there. And I was like,
You're getting on the lap of the man with the beard.
right. Some of the, because it is, I mean, I've been in the line with my son, and, it's like, okay, we're going to go see Santa, and he's like, okay, this is cool. And then we get up there and he's like, can I just have the candy cane? And I'm like, is that the only reason you wanted to come up here? He goes, yes.
Right. We stood for 2.5 hours in a line to get a candy cane.
You don't want to go sit on his lap and tell him what you want? He goes, no. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yes.
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
could have opened with that.
all right, let's go to the candy store because they have bigger canes.
Sure, right? I
Wow.
could buy a dozen of them.
Yeah. And so after that, he's more like, let's just go to the candy store and I'll get a candy cane.
Okay, he did. He kind of.
Yeah, he put it in there, but you have some family members who are like, no, we need the picture. We need the picture. We need the picture. I'm like, I don't think you're going to need that picture.
Oh, you had family members asking for a picture of your son on Santa's lap.
On Santa's lap.
Man,
And
you should just bought a fake beard and put on some red pants.
I would have been a much more anorexic Santa.
Put a pillow in your shirt. Come on, man, you're creative.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be authentic.
It wouldn't be authentic because the guy at the mall's authentic.
Yeah, actually, there were some pretty fat guys.
Well, what's that movie?
Wasn't where I thought that was going.
I can't remember the movie I'm thinking, but it's like all these guys who are like in Santa school and they're like just like very much like not great seeming people.
Right.
Does that ring a bell?
It does.
There's
Yeah.
How many Christmas movies
Yeah.
are there about?
I don't know, but
It's a different
it's just
podcast.
funny because it's just all these. But yeah, it's
No, I
Bad
do-
Santa. I don't know.
There's literally a movie called
really,
Bad Santa.
yeah,
Maybe
so
that's
it's a
it.
Bad
that one.
Santa. It could be that one. But you're right. There are some movies like that out there.
So should you take your child to one of these people, these strangers, and say, sit on this person's lap
well,
and let me take a photo of it?
what I think is that we should know our kid well enough to know whether or not that's going to be a good thing for them.
There's that foundational kind of.
Yep, know your kid, and when they get to the front of the line, you may have invested, 15 minutes to 6 hours in this. As a parent, you kind of have to chalk it up in your mind as to, okay, this may not go well at all.
Yeah.
Because if you force them to be on Santa's lap, it can really do some damage, Now, I think a lot more Santas today are more inclined to be able to say, hey, you can just stand next to me, or you can just come up and talk with me a little bit, or you and your mom can come up. So there's been some changes.
Of the, the society is more inclusive.
Yeah.
And I think that there's some benefit to that for this scenario.
Huge benefit, because a lot of times I was the same way. I just wanted the candy cane.
And to hand him the letter.
And to hand him
Yeah.
the letter because I needed that pony.
Right. Because that you went to go see Santa. It was a secondary, if I give him the letter, then I get the thing.
Yep.
It's not I want to see the guy. Although, for how many kids, that's probably true. It's like,
Well, see, and
who's
that's-
this guy? He gives out presents, right?
Right, which means that I know when I put it on the list for my parents, they will laugh at the pony and say, yeah, that's not happening. But if I give it to Santa and I've been good, he trumps my parents. A pony shows up and they can't say to him, not happening.
Yep. Because Santa brought it.
Because Santa brought it,
Santa brought
not knowing the logistics behind the whole.
As a
everything.
child,
As
yeah,
a child,
absolutely.
I'm just like, look, it works that way in all the cartoons.
Right.
So it's obviously the way it works. And look, we track Santa. Look, he's there. He's in Poland. Oh, now he's in
NORAD
Germany.
Santa
Oh,
tracker. Yeah.
Look at this. He went back to Norway. He forgot something. Okay, so now he's back and he's in England. See? He's real.
So I think that like of the things that we talk about parenting is the know your kid and then set your own expectations around what's going to be like best for your child, because going to see Santa in the mall might not be it. I mean, I think your son's a great example. I just wanted the candy cane, you know?
There were some years where we just get him the candy cane and he just wanted to watch other kids sit on Santa's lap.
So I remember, at least, I'm fairly certain that this was true when I was a child. It was like going to the mall and it's like, well, I could stand in the line to sit on his lap. Don't care. I'm going to go like walk around the display and I can see all the elves. I can see the Christmas decorations and I can see the guy sitting in the chair and I go, that's cool. I didn't want to sit in his lap. I got everything I wanted. I saw the thing. I saw Santa. That was it.
The one Santa that I really wanted to go see, and I cannot remember where it was, but they had actual reindeer.
Oh, neat.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I was not interested in Santa.
You're like, can I pet the reindeer?
I wanted the reindeer.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I wanted to rewrite my letter. I want a reindeer.
Pony, reindeer.
Right, cross it out. Reindeer. I'll take this one.
I'll take this one. No, these ones aren't part of the. No, this is.
You have reindeer. I'll take him. You get a new one.
You get a new one. Well, let's segue to like presents and stuff, and like kids want presents at Christmas. Should kids give presents at Christmas? And we were talking about this earlier, Eric, and you said I have stories.
I do, but I have stories about everything.
That's probably true.
Tell us a story.
Okay,
regale us a tale.
7 years ago. Oh, wait, that's not a story. Okay. So in my story is where my parents would teach me how to be able to give presents. And they had a really unique way of doing it. In our town, one of the main like stores there was called Payless. And so it's similar to Walmart, just
I think it's gone too now.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much a Walmart type.
It was
experience.
much smaller,
right?
But it had lots of different
the
things.
Walmart of shoes. Yeah,
that's what they became known for. But
that's what they were when I was a kid.
No, it's a different Payless.
Oh, different Payless. Oh, this is not Payless shoes.
Not Payless shoes. This is. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that distinction.
This is Pay
less.
Less.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the same company though, Josh.
You guys are just confusing me now.
That's not us.
Okay.
Right.
So Payless shoes, but not Payless shoes.
Payless
Got
shoes.
it.
Yeah,
okay.
They did have a shoe aisles. Like
okay.
Walmart,
So a place called Payless.
Payless.
That had shoes and other things.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Just like Walmart.
Payless.
Okay.
Shoes and other things.
Yes.
That was the subtitle.
There
Payless.
we go. Okay. They would take me and my brother into Payless and they would give us $25 each. Mm-hmm. And they would say, listen, now before we went to Payless, everybody made kind of a wish list of what they would like for Christmas.
Okay.
And so, both my parents are in the store. My brother and I are in the store. And so we've got an idea written out as to what do I get my brother? What does he want? Here's some items. What do I get my dad? What does he want? Here's some items.
Because they had shared their list with everybody.
And we had made these lists. And so I'm like, okay. So what did I do? I went in there and I will get the cheapest of everything I possibly can, even if it's not on the list. That way I wind up with about $22.50, which gets me the toy I really want.
Nice.
And then even though it's on the list, I'll have two because, it's probably a battle something. And this is going to be great. And so my parents had a rule. The rule was you must run your list by, your shopping cart,
your purchase,
by one of us before you actually go up there and check out. And I was like,
your parents were smarter than
than
you at the time.
Yeah. They put the two together and they knew their kid.
There it is.
Okay. And so I'm like, no, I can sell this. This will work. Because I got things that people would like. It's cheap crap. And so I took it and I ran it by my mom because I wasn't going to do it with my dad. He was going to say no, but I could sell it to my mom. And so I ran it by her and she went, seriously? No. No. And I'm like, why? And she goes, because we're not here for you. I mean, we're shopping for you, but you're shopping for other people. So
That
when
was
you're
the fundamental thing
Yep.
that you were trying to dance around.
Yep. And so she tagged my dad in, and he said, listen, when I said, if there's money left over, you can keep it, I meant like 50 cents.
The change.
The change you can,
Less
maybe
than
up to
$1.
$2.50, not $22.50. And you figured this out. I was so pissed. I was
Because you had it figured out.
Yeah.
Oh my
And they
gosh.
popped your balloon.
And they popped my balloon, and they're like, do we need to go home? I'm like, no, I just need space. And so I just
That's an
start
intensely reasonable thing to say when you're mad.
right. And so I went stomping around the store, and I'm like, this is so dumb, and I can't believe this. And, and I'd seen my brother, he had gotten, some of the different things, and I'm like, well, he's just dumb. This would work. And so
He's
I'm
dumb because he's not selfish like me.
right. Exactly. Yes. Thank you. And so I'm going around and I'm stomping around. And the reason why it was so good for them to just let me, I'm not destroying things. That's
Yeah,
different.
absolutely.
I'm not getting in people's way. I had some strangers that were like, somebody's Christmas bubble just got popped,
Right.
and they just make a comment, and I'm like, give them a glare, and I keep going.
Shut up.
And so I'm just, kind of doing this, but that stomping around and movement is making the anger chemicals go down.
Yep.
They're working out.
Yeah.
And so then I just happened to be like, I'll never forget. I stopped and I turned and I folded my arms and I looked up at the shelf and I went, oh, that's interesting. Is that a serving plate? Wait a minute. I pulled out my list. Serving plate Mom wanted. Oh, that's kind of a cool design. She said, get things that would go with her kitchen. I think this will work.
Almost like some
Okay,
divine providence
how much
stopped you
did
in front of that.
I pulled it down and I went, okay, this is like $11.25 and I have $25 and okay, I can do this. And so then I went and I'm like, I went to look for things for my dad and I'm like, this is kind of fun. And so I went over and I'm like looking for things for my dad, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to get anything for him like that. I'm going to go get stuff for my brother because I'll spend the money on him, because I was mad at my dad. And so then I went to the toy aisle and I was like looking at the toys and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Oh man, this is cool. Oh, I'd love to have this. And I'm like, oh, it's not on his list. Well, what's on his list? Well, he's 5 years younger. So that's a different section. And so I go there and I'm like, well, what would I have liked when I was his age to play with? Man, these are cool. And so I got a couple and then I'm like, okay, what does this come out to? And I added it up and I put it in the cart. And then I'm like, I got to go get something for my dad. All right, fine.
More than the stick of gum you'd found
Yeah, more
before.
than stick of gum that I was going to, sell him on. I think it was a bottle of Pepsi is what I was going to get for him because he drinks Pepsi. And so I went, well, he likes to fish. So I went to the fishing section and I'm like, these are kind of cool. They're shiny. They have colors.
Thinking
He
just like
didn't
a
have
fish.
these. And I was like taking this and this and this. And I was like putting them, in my cart and I was adding them all up, because we had little hand calculators and things. And I got in there and I was like, 27 something. I'm like, all right, fine. What goes back? And my first thought was the serving plate. And I'm like, okay, no, I can't do that. And so then I pulled some of the fishing stuff out and I got it under 25. And then I went and I proudly presented things straight to my dad. And he went, oh, okay. Looks like you've done it. And he didn't look much at it. And he goes, you have any idea what fish those would catch?
Speaking of a person, well, I was talking
Right.
about my own expectations
Yeah.
around presents. It
Yeah.
sounds like your dad shared some opinions.
Yeah. And I'm like, they catch fish.
Right. Yeah. The ones with fins, Dad.
Yeah. He goes, I'm not a deep sea fisherman. Just saying, you're probably not getting this for your brother. I'm like, what the heck is the difference? Don't you use worms out there too? And he goes, you might want to talk to the people in the sporting goods place. And so I'm like lightly stomping back because I did such a great job. And now all of a sudden he's rejecting it because, he can't go fishing with trout with whatever the heck I got. And
Grouper.
Right. And so I go back there and the guy sees me and he goes, I wondered if you'd be coming back this way. What is this, a conspiracy? What do you mean you were wondering? I mean, he's just on the counter, just like,
hanging out.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I saw what you were doing and I didn't figure you were old enough to own a boat. Like, what? Okay, listen, I understand this might not catch the fish my dad fishes for. And he goes, nope, it won't. You know my dad. He goes, yep.
Oh.
All right. Okay. It is a conspiracy.
Speaking of knowing people well enough.
Yeah. Because my dad was a great fisherman and hunter. And so he makes these relationships with all these people. He worked for the Forest Service. He's well known. He was in search and rescue. I was like, I'm screwed no matter what. And so I said, okay, what would you suggest?
There you go.
And I'm about 7, 8 years old. And he goes, let's go back over there. Now, what does your dad fish for mostly? I'm like, well, we've gone trout fishing. We've gone bass fishing. We've gone crappie fishing. Catfish, he seems to like, although it's a lot of waiting, and stinky chicken. And so I'm going through this, and the guy goes, okay, let me show you the different things for those. And he goes, first of all, let's get rid of all these. And so then he shows me, I re-pick the things, I re-add the things, I then take it up to the front and run it by my mom this time because, she didn't know anything about fishing. I should have gone there to begin with. And she goes, this looks great. I'm just going to assume that you know what your dad likes for fishing. If not, you'll probably be coming back here with him someday.
With a receipt.
And so, we did that, and I felt so proud of myself. And there was a $1.75 under the 25. And I handed it to my dad, and he goes, you know what? I'm really impressed with how you were able to recover. He goes, honestly, I thought we were going home. I thought you were going to be spending the day in your room. I'm like, yeah, it was kind of close to that, wasn't it?
He's like, you're not wrong.
He goes, but you really recovered well. Why don't you keep that $1.75 for yourself? I'm like, it's awesome. It's almost like I had $22.50. I'm like, that's awesome. Yeah. So, I kept that for myself. And come Christmas, it was always really exciting to watch them open the presents that I had gotten for them. Because they pretended well to be surprised.
Nice.
And because I saw my mom look down at that serving plate.
Of course, she saw it.
I saw her go, okay, that'll work. And so they taught us by, because like when I talk to some of the kids that I see in counseling, I'm like, okay, what'd you get your mom?
Right.
And they're like, nothing.
What do you mean? Why would I get my mom anything?
Why did you not get her anything? Why would I do that? Well, because it's Christmas. Well, Christmas is about them giving me presents.
Christmas is for me.
I'm like,
hold on.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so if I talk to parents, I'm like, hey, do your kids get to give you guys gifts? And they're like, well, how are they going to do that? They don't have money.
How do they have anything?
Yeah. It's like, guys, and they're like, well, why would we do that? I'm like, because there's a whole piece that they're missing out on having this growth and development that is going on. When I was in high school, I was in the drama class, and I was it was after school, and I was in there doing something. I don't even remember what I was doing, but the drama teacher was in there. And her daughter came into the class, and I knew who her daughter was. She was a couple of years younger than me, and she came in with a couple of her friends, and they were talking about what was going to happen, where she was going, how this was going, and she started to leave, and she goes, "Oh, and Mom, you got my Christmas list, right?" And her mom goes, "Tara, I got your list, okay? For the last time, I have your list and your brother's list. I've got it." And I was like, oh boy, this is a hot topic. And so she left, and the teacher turned around and she saw me. And because this got a little heated.
Sure.
Because Tara had said, yes, and I want that camera. That camera had better be under the tree.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and she was very demanding.
If I'm her mom, it definitely isn't under the tree this year.
Right. And the teacher was like, I know what you want. And so she goes, oh gosh, I'm sorry you had to see that. And I'm like, that seems like there's some tension around the camera. She goes, oh, it's like this every year at Christmas. She goes, honestly, I hate Christmas.
I hate Christmas.
I'm like, wow. Now I knew the girl, and we didn't at that time mesh well in school. And I'm like, I can understand why you hate Christmas. But I said, do you mind if she goes, well, you probably go through the same thing with your parents. You make lists, you tell them what you want, they have to get it. You're a kid, right? Kids do this.
Get it.
I'm like, yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. She goes, what do you mean it doesn't work like that? I'm like, my parents kind of trained us in a different way. And she goes, trained? What do you mean trained?
Like they parented you or something.
Yeah. I'm like, well, they have a different system that they started when we were kids. And she came over and sat down and she goes, do tell. And I said, well, okay, here's the thing. We are told, make a list out as to what you would like for Christmas. And it's correctly classified as a wish list. We are informed from a very young age that we don't have any idea what the budget is. And the budget will decide how many of those things you may, and they want at least 10 on the sheet, but you won't get, even in the best of years, all 10.
It's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen. You may get some of those, and so you want to organize them as to your top 3. And in your top 3, what they mean is organize them as to the ones you want the most, and we'll determine by the price and the budget as to we're buying for everybody. And by the way, you will be getting socks and underwear at every Christmas. That was just a given.
That's
it's a
awesome.
given. Clothing is a part of Christmas.
Clothing.
You will have it.
That's one way to set those expectations. Of just
exactly.
You need them anyway, and they're coming at Christmas.
And they're coming at Christmas. And because by now you've outgrown some of your school clothing that you got.
It's kind of halfway through the year. A little bit.
And the wish list is also for your relatives when they say, hey, what does Erik want for Christmas? Well, he put these things on there. So, we'll take those things.
Right, we've already gotten X, Y, or Z.
Yeah. Or, that's nice. We got this, so it's a little different. And she goes, so you arrange it by the top 3. Yeah, the one you want the most. So it sounds like for her, that would be the camera, which was a brand new camera that had come out and was extremely expensive. And then if it is like that camera, which I'm like, I know what that camera is. And she's like, yeah, that's like $200-300. Mm-hmm. She goes, I can buy her that camera and that's all I'm getting for her. Else. Or I can buy her several things. Mm-hmm. And I said, and that was the thing on our list is if the highest priced thing is number 1, you're probably getting one thing if the budget can hold for that. Yep. And then socks and underwear.
Those came no matter what.
They came no matter what.
Amazing.
They already bought them in the Black Friday sales. I mean, they were already there, ready to go. And she goes, I'm going to have to think about this. And she, because she said, obviously you're going to see my daughter's not going to like it. I'm like, well, yeah, no kid likes it when they first get this rolled out in front of them, but they'll get over it, And so she goes, I got some thinking to do. And I didn't, was it after Christmas break, it was in January, and I'm back in her classroom, doing something again. I'm assuming it was for her classroom. I don't even know anymore. But she just happened to see me, and she came over and she sat down and she goes, do you mind if I share with you how Christmas went? And I'm like, well, I'm just, seeing you sitting there, I'm assuming it went well. She goes, it is the best Christmas my family ever had.
Wow.
And because she said, you guys accept that they put these limits? I said, yeah. And it takes the pressure off of us we don't have to be like, did we get it? Are we going to get it? Will they get this? Are they going to get this? No, we already know these are things we want. They're going to pick from those things. So we know with the list, we're getting something we like. Mm-hmm. It just depends on how how much money, if the pipes broke and they had to like spend money, for whatever that damage that did, we know we're not going to get those big high paying things, but still things we put on there we like and we want. And so it takes all of that out of it, and you can just enjoy Christmas and family and in whatever the traditions are. And she goes, I rolled out your parents' idea. And she was very wise to put it like that to me as a high schooler, because it wasn't my idea. She said, I rolled out your parents' idea. My kids did not like hearing that, but I did what you said your parents did. I just said, this is it. It's it or nothing. And I'm like, I didn't think I said that part, but okay. And she goes, but I kind of got that from what you were saying. And she said, I just let them know this is the way it is. At the end of the weekend that I rolled this out, they had rewritten their list.
They rewrote the list.
Rewrote their list.
Interesting.
And I let my daughter Tara know I could get that camera, but it's the only thing I'll be able to do for you because the budget for the year, that's it.
Right.
And
that's this Christmas and next Christmas, lady.
Yeah. And I said, yeah, my parents would do that to give us a part of the choice, part of the empowerment. You know what you're having. She said, my daughter actually didn't put the camera as her number one.
Oh, wow.
She had some other things in there. And so I was actually able to get her about 6 or 7 gifts. Mm-hmm. And she said when it came time to Christmas, because there's always this, well, am I going to get it? Am I going to get it? There's this pressure. There's this tension. There's this anger. There's an expectation. There's then disappointment if you didn't get it.
Like such negative adjectives for Christmas.
Exactly. She goes, there was none of that.
Wow.
We just had fun. We had our traditions. We did the things. We watched the movies. We had the foods. When it came to Christmas, people were opening their gifts. They understood they were getting socks and underwear, so that became kind of a funny, laughable thing. And then they opened presents that they knew they had chosen they'd like to get. She goes, it was wonderful. She said, I've never had a Christmas like that before, and I'm doing this every year. She goes, so do me a favor. I'm like, oh, what's that? Go home and thank your parents for their idea. It went well in my house. She got up and went back to her desk.
Well, and here we are sharing it with you. So if this sounds like a good idea to you guys.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. No, it went well.
Yeah.
I only had one really disappointing Christmas, but that's a different story, and it was all on me. Yep. Yep,
I'm sure we will hear that at some point along here.
Yeah.
Lucas is taking notes now. Eric's disappointing Christmas. So yeah, those are some pretty cool things. We definitely would love to hear, what you think of that. If you have some different ideas or ways that your family handles the gift giving and helping kids to give gifts, and definitely subscribe and share this with someone. And we will see you on our next Christmas episode.
And you give the episode a thumbs down, we'll know it was because of Josh's pronunciation earlier in the episode.
Yes.
So we understand.
We get it.
Felice Navidad.
Perfect.
Oh, wow.
Woohoo!